What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique. I'm a fight guy, a Forbes contributor, and I also write for Heavy.com. And we are powered by Fight TV and presented by Bet Online, going over every single fight on the UFC Fight Night, Jessica Eye versus Cynthia Calvillo card. In the event that you are just watching this particular fight prediction, make sure you look at the end of the video. There will be a link for you to look at every single fight or every single video associated with this card. So without further ado, let's jump right into the breakdown. Andre Fili against Charles. I'll never stop laughing when I say Andre Fili against Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain is still a very young fighter. He's 24 years old, a talented striker, a pretty fluid athlete, moves well. Fili's been around forever, it feels like, but he's still, I believe, only 29 years old himself. He's been in octagon with some of everybody. Max Holloway, Sadiq Youssef in his last fight lost a unanimous decision in that fight. We saw Charles Jourdain actually rebound from a loss against Desmond Green, which is just really a unfortunate story. Desmond Green really looked like a promising guy going up the ranks, but he ended up getting in trouble with the law, ended up getting released. But Charles Jourdain rebounded well from that loss, and he knocked out Do Ho Choi in his last fight. It was a second round stoppage in December, first time in the octagon since then. So this is a fight I find interesting, and I know that the odds have Fili here minus 220, and Charles Jourdain is here at a plus 185 as an underdog. I definitely believe or Jourdain has a little bit more of a chance to pull this off than what the odds makers are giving him. Fili has gotten a lot better. You can see some of the advances that he's made with American Top Team. You can see them. But I still think he's prone to get into certain kinds of fights because of that fire that he fights with and he competes with. And I think he can get himself into some trouble with that. And Charles Jourdain is the type of guy who has the type of strikes that could be an issue. The reason I'm not going to pick the underdog here, the reason I'm not going to go with Charles Jourdain is because the way that you seem to beat Andre Fili is with short, quick, straight arrow sorts of strikes, the kinds of punching, the kind of striking that Sadiq Youssef brings. And Sadiq Youssef, that fight was very close. I think Fili thought he should have won that fight. The fight before that, Fili showed, I felt, the best performance I've seen of him in the UFC when he stopped Shaman Moraes. Just beautiful combinations off of strikes. He comboed a leg kick to the body with a straight right hand and followed that right back up with a right leg kick to the head that hurt Moraes, that led to the finish. There was a short right hand that dropped Moraes, put him on the ground, and he hit him with a couple ground and pound shots to get the stoppage. And I thought that was his best performance that I've ever seen of him. And I've seen pretty much every Andre Fili fight in the UFC. So I'm not going to go with Jourdain because I consider his strikes still to be too long for Fili. And maybe it's just at this point in his career. And who knows, maybe we see Charles Jourdain right after this knockout of Do Ho Choi, and we see that he is really taking the steps that he needs to take. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, as I'm even saying this to you, I'm kind of waffling a little bit, right? I really, there's something in me that really wants to take Charles Jourdain here, but I still feel like from an overall athletic standpoint and the way they match up physically, I'm picturing this fight and I'm picturing these exchanges, and I'm picturing Andre Fili still being able to punch in between the Charles Jourdain strikes and being able to get an advantage there. I also think that if it goes to the ground, I think Fili is better in grappling. He'll hold by top position better if it gets there. I wouldn't even actually be shocked if I saw him come out and employ that as a strategy to take Charles Jourdain away from what he more than likely does best, which is stand up. If you look at Charles Jourdain's career, he does have 3 submission victories, but last one he had was in 2018 against Alex Morgan, which is not a UFC level talent. He beat Kevin Gennaro with a submission, and then Michael Sear. But most often he gets it done on the feet. 7 of his 10 victories have come from KO. And that's how Fili does it too. 9 victories of his 20 KO, TKO. But I've seen him wrestle effectively and handle that better than Charles Jourdain. So I might regret this, but I am gonna go with Andre Fili to get this victory. I'm gonna have him getting the victory by a unanimous decision. Might even be a split decision. But Fili's the kind of guy, he doesn't get split decision victories much. I don't know. He's just one of those guys who always seems to get robbed necessarily, or to have a gripe that he got robbed. He did get a split decision victory over Dennis Bermudez back in 2018, but for the most part, it's got to be definitive for him. And I got him getting this victory by unanimous decision. Let's hope I don't regret that, because it could have been a situation where we pulled out us a underdog here. But I'm going to go with Touchy Fili. I think he gets the victory unanimous decision.